Hi guys, we're having a look at a very premium power supply unit today. This comes from Enermax and this is the 850 watt version from the Platimax range. Okay, so let's start by looking at the front of the box. We've got the Enermax logo up at the top here, along with the Platimax branding across the middle. The model that we have is 850 watts, however it is available in multiple wattages, such as 500 watt, 600 watt, 750 watt, 850 watt, 1000 watt, which is a special overclocked edition, 1350 watt, and a staggering 1500 watt. So this particular range of PSUs from Enermax, the Platimax, is definitely a premium range of PSU. And we do feature the 80 Plus Platinum certification. We've got the 5-year warranty included, and it is features flat modular cables, which will be quite nice to look at. So on the side, again, also we've got the Platimax branding. I believe, no, that's and on this side we have got the power table. If I just bring you in a little bit quicker on there, also it mentions about the various different wattages. We'll cover this a little bit when we actually get the unit out itself. On that side we have a nice image of the actual PSU, along with obviously all the branding as you would expect. And then on the back of the actual PSU we got a lot of technical specification. For example, the heat guard, which tells you a little bit about the actual heat guard system, how the PSU will basically keep running for around about 30 to 60 seconds after you shut the actual PC off, to prolong the life of the actual PSU and to help get rid of the heat inside the actual case as well. Other features, also it's got all the relevant safety features that you'd expect from a PSU of this standard, and it mentions all the various different cables that are available with the PSU. Another good thing is the twister bearing fan, which we'll concentrate on a little bit more when we get this out. So let's start by having a look at the inside. And as you can see, the way that they've done this looks really good. Everything's nicely sectioned off, which is quite impressive. So I'm just going to bring you in a little bit closer so we can have a look. Okay, so this section here stipulates that it's got the modular cables. So let's pull this out. Oh, first thing we've got here is quite a nice drawstring Enermax bag for obviously transporting the PSU, putting it in there, also the spare cables, etc. So that's quite nice to see. We then have a massive bundle of cables, and as it says on the box, they're all flat, which is a really nice feature. Really like the look of these cables, so we'll look at them in a bit more detail in a moment. What else have we got in here? We have got what looks to be a power cord safety guard device, part of it, a little Enermax badge and some screws, and obviously a couple of cable ties. So it's really nice to see Enermax branded power cable ties, really nice. And on this side, pull that cardboard out. Oh, that's part of the actual PSU itself. On this side actually we have got the power cord, so we've got the European plug edition. And coming on to this here, which is the user guide, obviously it's an extremely good idea to read this whether you're clued up on your PSUs or not. Give it a good old read, because at the end of the day, with something like a PSU, you don't want to get this sort of thing wrong. So give it a good read. And we'll now pull the actual PSU out. As you can see, it's nicely bubble wrapped. So let's just put everything back in its box. Fold that up and put that over there, and we can see the actual PSU itself here. So let's just take that out of the actual bubble wrap, if I could figure out how it comes out. I must say this is actually quite a hefty PSU, so wow, fantastic looking PSU. So let me bring you in a bit closer so we can concentrate on the actual PSU and cables. Okay, so let's start by having a look at the actual cables on the Enermax PSU. Now, the first thing you'll notice that the actual PSU itself is not fully modular. However, obviously, for the most part, it is. So let's have a look at the cables that come bundled. These two are identical. You've got two Molex and also two SATA power connectors on this. So obviously that end you'd connect straight into the actual PSU. You've got a nice amount of length before you reach the first connector. Don't know if you can quite see how long that is. It's really good. So you then followed by 2 SATA connectors, and then followed by 2 Molex connectors. So looking at the actual cable itself, as you can see, they are flat cables, which I really like the look of. Nice black flat cables, a lot easier to work with, and provide a better look inside your actual case. So very impressed with them. The next 2 that we're going to be looking at are these here. Both identical. They both feature 4 SATA power connectors. And then finally onto this one, which has got a total of 4 Molex connectors and also your floppy drive connector. Also included here are your power connectors for GPU, etc. So you've got 6+2 connector on both of them. So there's 2 of them available. And as we pull the actual PSU in, we can then start to have a look. We'll just bring you down at the cables that are connected to the actual PSU itself. Just bear with me while I undo this. Now, as you can see, the actual colour scheme here may not be to anyone else's or to anyone's taste, really, to be fair. It's got a nice black, red, gold theme going across the whole thing. Looks very much like some form of Python or something like nature. The actual 24-pin connector is a solid 24-pin connector. It's not a 20+4, so that might be something to look out for. And then additionally on here you do have some additional cables, so let's just quickly run through these. You got 2 lots of 6+2 and also 2 lots of 8. So let's now have a look at the actual PSU itself. Okay, so moving on to the actual PSU itself, also we've got the Platimax branding across the side here. As you can see, it's got quite a heavy sort of gunmetal matte finish across the actual PSU itself. I do believe this is scratch resistant as well, so that's really nicely thought out. The exterior looks fantastic on this PSU. On this side also we've got the Enermax logo, the power switch, power cord. This little feature here, also you connect your little metal bracket up to this and connect it up to there, and then that will basically stop the power cable from being accidentally pulled out of the actual PSU, which is another good feature. Again, obviously the Platimax logo on that side. The power table is on here as well, which we'll come on to in a moment. And then obviously on this side, I'll turn this over, we have the various different power connectors, obviously red and black. And then we come on to the actual Enermax fan that is built into this. So let me just bring you in on this. Okay, so looking at the actual fan, obviously we've got quite a nice silver outer rim on this. The actual fan looks really nice indeed, and I like the Enermax branding badge on the middle. Now, what's quite peculiar about the actual fan itself is that it's 139mm square, so it's quite an unusual size, to be fair. It does feature a twisted bearing inside though, so there's hardly going to be any noise coming from this PSU. In fact, you could probably run at least 2 to 3 graphics cards from this and virtually not hear the PSU at all, which is a really nice feature. It's very quiet indeed. So let's have a look at the actual cables that come, or the cable management system here. Okay, so as you can see, we have room on this side, as it's clearly labelled up at the top, for the hard drives, optical drives, and any other peripherals. So your SATA and your Molex, and also the one with the floppy drive, is going to be connecting into this. This power rail runs, I believe, at 120 watt, if I remember correctly. Yep. 120 watt. So on this side we have got a total of 3 connectors for CPU, GPU and RAM, the 12 volt connectors. Now also we've got 2 additional cables that I showed you a little bit earlier, so you have got a spare socket here if you did require that. Obviously I assume the cables are available from the Enermax website. Okay, so let's go over a little bit more about the actual specification of the actual Enermax Platimax PSU. Now, Enermax manufacture, design and build their own PSUs. They're their own OEM for PSUs. So everything inside this particular PSU has been obviously handpicked by Enermax. Things like Japanese caps, dynamic hybrid technology, the special fan that's on the inside, the 139mm twister bearing fan, etc. So Enermax are renowned for their PSU quality, and the Platimax range of PSUs is definitely one of the more higher premium range of PSUs available on the market. The unit itself is 150mm in width, 86mm in height and 175mm in depth, and weighs in at around 2.3 kilograms. The PSU is actually designed to run 24/7 at a maximum of 50 degrees centigrade. So this PSU is going to be able to handle anything that you can actually throw at it, especially with the 850 watt model, and obviously going up to the 1000, the 1350 and the 1500 watt versions. This PSU is going to be able to literally handle any system that you wish to put it into. Looking at the power table for the PSU, Enermax have allowed the 3.3 volt and 5 volt to have a combined wattage of 120 watt, with the four 12 volt rails kicking out a maximum of 840 watt, which is extremely close to the 850 watt power. So in peak power, you're looking at around about 935 watts. But if you're going to be using peak power of that sort of size, you really do need to be upgrading to possibly the 1000 watt system. As already mentioned, this PSU does come with all the relevant safety features that you come to expect from a premium brand of PSU like Enermax. As I've already mentioned, the PSU itself is 80 plus platinum, with this coming out at around 90 to 94% efficient. Another design is the FMQ design, high performance power supply topology, which basically uses magnetic quadrants of the actual main transformer to achieve maximum efficiency and rock stable output voltages. The dynamic hybrid transfer topology that I already mentioned a little bit earlier in the actual review uses a staged dynamic transformer array, which then produces extremely high efficiency for the most stable and durable output at any load. You've got full support for graphics power, so you've got the SLI from NVIDIA and the Crossfire systems as well. Heat guard is another really good feature of the actual PSU. As mentioned at the beginning, it will keep the actual PSU running for around 30 to 60 seconds depending on how much it's been used, etc. After the actual system's been shut down, to also get rid of the actual heat from the actual PSU to prolong the life of the actual unit itself. And again, as mentioned a little bit earlier, the Japanese capacitors do operate up to 105 degrees centigrade, so unless this unit's going to start to melt down, the capacitors will not fail on the actual system itself. Okay, so I've now got the power supply connected up to a power source, so let's give it a switch on and we can see the fan in operation. Now obviously with the PSU itself, I've not got anything connected up to the actual unit, so at the moment there's hardly anything being drawn from the actual PSU, but at the same time, most PSUs that I've looked at, there has been a sort of quite an increase in fan noise when starting the actual PSU up. With this one, I didn't hear a thing. So what I'm just going to quickly do is just bring our microphone in a little bit closer, so hopefully you can hear if there is any noise coming from this. And as you can hear, it is virtually silent, which is really good. The other thing that I just want to quickly show you is obviously the guard on the back here for the actual PSU. Obviously just trying to pull the cable out, it isn't going to happen. I think every single PSU on the market should have this, because at the end of the day you don't want to be like turning your case around or doing anything in particular that is going to warrant for the actual cable just to be pulled straight out. So let's now switch this off and I'll see the actual fan itself continuing to be used. It is running, like I said before, to around about 30 to 60 seconds after the actual power has been turned off. So hopefully in a moment that should then start to slow down, and obviously at this precise moment in time it's getting rid of any heat that's actually in the actual PSU. So hopefully that should start to stop in a moment. Okay, and as you can see, the PSU fan has stopped. So onto my overview for the Platimax PSU from Enermax. Obviously, Enermax are renowned, as I've already mentioned, for their PSUs. The Platimax range definitely does not let them down. This is a premium quality PSU, and just looking at it, it does ooze the quality that does come from within inside. The matte finish on the exterior, the scratch-resistant coating, looks absolutely fantastic. The branding around the actual PSU is really good. The fan itself is extremely quiet. You can't hardly hear the actual fan spinning up at all. I like the fact that you have got the heat guard, which obviously helps with getting rid of the heat from the actual PSU. It's a really nice feature. You've got a lot of options with regards to the cables coming off the actual PSU with the Molex, the SATA, etc. Obviously the fact that you can run 2 or 3 graphics cards from the actual PSU without it even breaking a sweat is really good. So I hope you liked the video, and we look forward to seeing you in our next.